Welcome to the class. Today let us see the other common method used to improve the efficiency of the Rankine cycle, that is regenerative vapor power cycle. The other common method used for increasing efficiency is regenerative feed water heating. It is simply known as regeneration, and this cycle we call it as regenerative vapor power cycle. As you can see on TS diagram, the process 3 to 4 is isentropic compression process, where working fluid gets compressed. After getting compressed, the fluid will enter into the boiler at point 4. But in case of regenerative vapor cycle, instead of entering at point 4, the compressed fluid will enter between the 4 to A into the boiler. Here the advantage is when the compressed fluid enters between the 4 to A, the average temperature will increase in heat addition process, so that the efficiency will be increased. Now let us see open feed water heater regenerative vapor cycle. Generally, regenerative vapor cycles are accomplished using two types of feed water heaters. Those are open feed water heater and closed feed water heater. At present slide, let us discuss about open feed water heater regenerative vapor cycle. As you can see the schematic diagram of open feed water regenerative vapor cycle. In the turbine and two pumps are isentropic process. Boiler, open feed water heater and condenser are constant pressure process. Now let me explain working of open feed water regenerative vapor cycle. As we know that the steam from the boiler will enter into the turbine. Here two turbines are there, high pressure turbine and low pressure turbine. Let us assume that unit mass 1 kg of steam entering into the high pressure turbine. After expanding through the high pressure turbine, at point 2, at the exit of the high pressure turbine, some fraction of the steam extracted, that mass is Y kg. Again I am repeating, after expanding through the high pressure turbine, at the exit of the high pressure turbine at state 2, Y kg of steam extracted from the turbine. Now total mass is unit mass 1 kg and Y kg mass extracting at point 2. The remaining mass is 1 minus Y kg. So the remaining mass 1 minus kg will enter into the low pressure turbine. After expanding through the low pressure turbine, it will enter into the condenser. The same 1 minus Y mass gets condensed in the condenser and it will enter into the pump 1. The function of the pump is it increases the pressure from low pressure to high pressure. After getting compressed in the pump 1, the compressed fluid will enter into the open feed water heater. The compressed fluid mass is same as 1 minus y kg. The function of the open feed water heater is it is like a heat exchanger, but this heat exchanger is direct contact type heat exchanger, which means both extracted steam and condensed water both will mix directly in the open feed water heater. Due to the temperature difference between extracted steam and condensed water, the temperature of the condensed water will increase. So this increased temperature water will enter into the pump 2. Here, if you observe carefully in the open feed water heater, Y mass entering into the feed water which is extracted from the turbine, and also 1 minus Y mass entering into the open feed water heater which is coming from the condenser. Once both the masses are mixed in the open feed water heater, here YY gets cancelled, the remaining mass is 1 kg. So the 1 kg mass of fluid will enter into the pump 2. Thus, after getting compressed in the pump 2, the same 1 kg mass will enter into the boiler. Here, this water will convert it into steam. Again, that steam will enter into the high pressure turbine. So, this is the cyclic process, regenerative vapor cycle. So, the function of the open feed water heater is it will increase the temperature of the condensed water because it is a direct contact type heat exchanger. In this heat exchanger, extracted steam Y kg and condensed water 1 minus Y kg both are mixing directly because this uh, heat exchanger is a direct contact heat exchanger. When both mixed directly, masses Y gets cancelled and the remaining mass is 1 kg. So the remaining 1 kg will enter into the pump 2 and the same 1 kg mass will enter into the steam generator. This is regarding open feed water regenerative vapor cycle. Now let us discuss TS diagram. Now let us discuss TS diagram for regenerative vapor cycle with open feed water heater. As you can see on TS diagram, the process 1 to 2 is isentropic expansion process in the high pressure turbine. So this is the high pressure turbine. Here 1 kg mass of fluid expanding through the high pressure turbine. After expanding through the high pressure turbine, at point 2, y kg mass extracted. So the remaining mass is 1 minus y kg. The 1 minus kg mass will expand through the low pressure turbine in the process 2 to 3. Here 2 to 3 is the low pressure turbine. So this is the low pressure turbine. After expanding through the low pressure turbine, at point 3, it will enter into the condenser with the same mass as 1 minus y kg. So here 3 to 4 is the condensation process where liquid gets condensed. After getting condensed at point 4, it will enter into the pump P1. Here 4 to 5 is isentropic compression process in the pump P1. The function of the pump is it will raises the pressure. So again from point 5 it will enter into the open feed water heater in the process 5 to 6. The function of the open feed water heater is it will raises the temperature of the condensed water, because extracted steam and condensed water both are mixing in the open feed water heater. Due to the temperature difference between extracted steam and condensed water, the temperature of the condensed water will increase. So if you look at the TS diagram, from point 5 to point 6, the temperature increases in the open feed water heater. Again from point 6, it will enter into the second pump P2. So here process 6 to 7 is again isentropic compression process in the point P2, where the pressure of the fluid will increase. Again from point 7, it will enter into the boiler in the process 7 to 1. The function of the boiler is it converts the water into steam. So here, so the water is converted into steam. So this is regarding TS diagram for regenerative vapor cycle with open feed water heater. Now one more important point is, so this is the regular Rankine cycle. If you observe here, the steam enters at point 4 into the boiler and it will converted into water into vapor in the process A21. Okay, but in regenerative vapor cycle, instead of entering at point 4, it is entering at point 7. Okay, that is the difference between regular Rankine cycle and regenerative Rankine cycle. Here the advantage is, since the temperature of the condensed water increasing, before entering into the boiler. So the average temperature in the heat addition process is increasing in the process 7 to 1. So the efficiency of the cycle will be increased. Now let us discuss the fraction Y extracted at point 2 at the exit of the high pressure turbine. So here the extracted mass is Y kg. This Y can be calculated by applying the conservation of mass and conservation of energy principles to a open feed water system. So since it is a open system, first law for open system is Q minus W equals to delta U, which means heat minus work equals to change in internal energy. This internal energy includes change in enthalpy plus change in kinetic energy and change in potential energy. So it can be written as Q minus W equals to delta H plus delta KE, that is change in kinetic energy, plus delta PE, that is change in potential energy. When we apply first law to the open system, assume that there is no heat loss to the surrounding from the open feed water heater. So if there is no heat loss, the term Q will be 0. And also, since open feed water heater is a heat exchanger, there will be no work. So work equals to 0. And generally, kinetic energy and potential energies are negligible. So the remaining term is delta H. Delta H equals to change in enthalpy. Enthalpy at inlet to the open feed water heater minus enthalpy at outlet to the open feed water heater. If you look at the open feed water heater, here it has two inlets. Inlet from point 2 and inlet from point 5. From point 2, Y mass entering into the open feed water heater. From point 5, 1 minus Y mass entering into the open feed water heater. And at the exit, 1 kg mass leaving the open feed water heater at point 6. Now, the enthalpy at inlet is, we have to add enthalpy at point 2 and enthalpy at point 5. So, YH2 from point 2 plus 1 minus YH5 from point 5. So, these two terms are enthalpy at inlet minus enthalpy at outlet at point 6 is H6. Here the mass is 1 kg. So 1 H6, 1 kg H6. When you simplify this equation, it can be written as Y equals to H6 minus H5 divided by H2 minus H5. So from this equation, we can calculate the fraction Y extracted from point 2 at the exit of the high pressure turbine. Now let us discuss work done by the turbine. As you can see in schematic diagram, here we have two turbines, high pressure turbine and low pressure turbine. Now the total work done equals to work done by the high pressure turbine plus work done by the low pressure turbine. When you apply first law to the turbine, we know that the equation for open system Q minus W, that is heat minus work, equals to change in enthalpy plus change in kinetic energy plus change in potential energy. Here, if you look at the TS diagram, the process 122 is isentropic expansion process in the high pressure turbine. Process 223 is isentropic expansion through the low pressure turbine. In both the turbines, the process is reversible adiabatic process. So the term Q is 0. And generally we neglect kinetic energy and potential energy. So the remaining is W equals to delta H. Now we can write it as work done by the turbine per unit mass equals to, in the process 122 is H1 minus H2 into mass 1 kg into 1 plus, in the process 223 is H2 minus H3 and the mass is 1 minus 5. So this is the final equation. From this equation we can find the work done by the turbine per unit mass. Now let us see pump work. As you can see in schematic diagram, here we have two pumps. Pump 1 between 4 and 5 states and pump 2 between 6 and 7 states. Now the total work input to the pump equals to work input to the pump 1 plus work input to the second pump equals to total pump work. And one more point is, here 1 minus Y mass entering from the condenser to the pump 1 and 1 kg mass entering from the open feed water to pump 2. Again I am repeating, in pump 1, 1 minus Y mass entering from the condenser to pump 1, and in case of pump 2, 1 kg mass entering from the open feed water to second pump. So as you can see on TS diagram, here the process 425 is isentropic compression process in the pump P1, and here mass is 1 minus Y, and 6 to 7 is isentropic compression process in pump 2. Here mass is 1 kg. Okay, with this understanding, let us see first law to the pump. When you apply first law to the pump, here pumps are open system. So first law to the open system is Q minus W equals to change in enthalpy, change in kinetic energy and change in potential energy. As we know that the process 425 is isentropic process, it is a reversible adiabatic process, and also 6 to 7 is isentropic process. Both pump P1 and pump P2 are isentropic process. So the term Q equals to 0. Generally we neglect kinetic energy and potential energy. The remaining terms are W equals to delta H. So we can write it as work done by the pump, work input to the pump per unit mass equals to, in the process 425, and in the process 7 to 6. So let us see first the process 7 to 6. We can write it as H7 minus H6. Here in this process the mass is 1 kg. So into 1 plus, coming to first pump, here the process is 4 to 5. So H5 minus H4 into, here mass is 1 minus y kg. So into 1 minus y. So this is the final equation to find the work input to the pump per unit mass. From this equation we can find the work input to the pump by pump 1 and pump 2. Now let us see heat addition to the boiler. Here you could see on schematic diagram. So this is the boiler. Heat addition taking place between the state 7 to state 1. As you can see on TS diagram, heat addition in the boiler taking place between the state 7 to state 1. Here the mass of fluid is 1 kg. Now when you apply first law to the boiler, we know that Q minus W equals to change in enthalpy, change in kinetic energy and change in potential energy. Here in boiler there will be no work. So the term work equals to 0. Generally we neglect kinetic energy and potential energy. So Q equals to delta H. So this we can write it as heat addition to the boiler per unit mass equals to, here as you can see in TS diagram, heat addition taking place between 7 to 1. So H1 minus H7 into mass is 1 kg. So the equation is heat addition to the boiler per unit mass equals to H1 minus H2. Now let us see heat rejection in the condenser. Here we can see in schematic diagram, this is the condenser between the state 4 to 1 and 1 minus y mass entering into the condenser. As you can see on TS diagram, here the process 3 to 4 is the condensation process at constant pressure and mass is 1 minus y kg. So here also if you apply first law to the condenser, Q minus W equals to delta H plus kinetic energy plus potential energy. So in the condenser there will be no work. The term work equals to 0 and generally we neglect kinetic energy and potential energy. So remaining term is Q equals to delta H. So heat rejection from the condenser Q out per unit mass equals to, here in TS diagram the process is 3 to 4. So you can write it as H3 minus H4 into, here the mass is 1 minus y kg. So 1 minus y into H3 minus H4. So from this equation we can find the heat rejected by the condenser per unit mass, that is 1 minus y into H3 minus H4.